everybody? I'm a model. Yeah? Not just any model. I'm a swimsuit model. Now, if I met you outside on the road and asked you, hey guys, do you think I can be a model? Typically, I would get the answer, ha! Fat chance. So today, I'm going to talk about that chance. What did I do to get to this? Right? Before we get into what chances I took, etc., etc., I want to tell you the story of a small little 4-year-old girl. Okay? Now, this 4-year-old girl loved dancing, and she was practicing with a friend of hers for a Durga Puja function, right? And the neighborhood auntie helped her out and all of that. The two of them practiced really hard. Now, they were, just imagine them, 4-year-olds, tiny feet, tiny hands, right? They're practicing really hard. On the D-Day, they were given their costumes, and the two of them came out in beautiful red lehenga, shiny gold jewelry, and then they stood in front of the mirror. One of them looked at herself, did all of this, and then moved on to the stage. The second one looked in the mirror and she did this. She was twirling. She loved her lehenga. She loved what she saw in the mirror. She smiled to herself. She smiled a little more. Her mother literally had to peel her off the mirror to take her on stage. Now the music started. The first girl went on, did all the dance movements that they had rehearsed for. But the second girl stood there and she smiled and she twirled. She showed off her dress. Her mother sitting over there was very embarrassed. She had her head down like this. After the performance, the mother asked, "Arey yaar, you practiced so hard. Why didn't you dance?" She said, "But Mama, I did dance. I just danced a different dance because I looked so beautiful." Now this little girl grew up with all the right life lessons. Independent of thought, independent of speech, independent of mind. But like all girls like this, many of us sitting here, she was also impatient and restless. So what did she do? She got married. And right after that became a mother. And then she lived happily ever after. Right? Ha! Fat chance. So, what happened? Over the next decade, she was taught, married women, wake up early in the morning and make tea for the family. Married women, keep the house neat and clean. It should be beautiful always. Married women, produce children, get fit and fashionable right after delivery. But she was fat. She was postpartum fat, thyroid fat, depression fat, suicidal fat. However, when her husband had an affair, it was her fault. Why? Because she was unacceptably fat. Right? You know why my talk is called Fat Chance today? Because a lot of times we need to put our destiny through a weight loss program. Right? You've heard of fatty liver? Yeah? Sometimes our dreams also are fatty dreams. Right? What happens is that they get choked and constricted by the weight of the world. Right? So what do we do? Let's break it down. Why do we take on this weight? Let's talk about it. Yeah? The first reason for that, and the first weight we carry all the time, is the fear of rejection. We are wired to seek acceptance, right? We are meant to ask and earn love. We don't deserve love. That's what we are taught. So all our life we are looking for acceptance. Now, if I take you back many years ago, I was a self-taught dancer and a choreographer. I was going to be the next Saroj Khan, but then I got married. So, wo bhi chala gaya. Now, right about the time when my son was about 5 years old, I wanted to participate in an Anand Shankar style dance recital. So I took the idea home and, this is what I got to hear. Stage toot jayega. They will have to buy a full than to make your sari. Those words hurt. Not only did I not participate in that show, I gave up dancing for the next 15 years of my life. Now, the next weight that we carry is external validation versus self-validation. Social media, society standards, parental expectation, all of these decide what success looks like. Sharma ji ka beta, Gupta ji ki ladki, all of them decide what success looks like. Now, if you remember, there was in the 90s, I know you're too young to know, but in the 90s there was the hourglass figure, right? Now that changed to Kareena Kapoor's size 0. Nowadays, what's the trend? Korean glass skin, curly girl method, form-fitting clothes, and some other time oversized clothes. When we are always trying to keep track of what's happening outside, when we are constantly trying to measure up to these standards, how are we ever going to be comfortable in our own skin? Glass or otherwise, whatever. Right? Now, the third one is the fear of conflict. From the beginning, we are not taught how to handle conflict. Fight or flight. Maar ke aa jao ya bhag jao. Yeah? We are taught scream, hit or sulk. If that's what our childhood has been, how are we expected to handle conflict as adults? As we go along, remaining quiet for some people becomes the easy way out and the best way to handle conflict. So, in my marriage, I was told, after I put on weight, साड़ी मत पहनो यार. You look old and very shapeless, like a dhobi ka bundle. I still remember dhobi ka bundle as a phrase used. Don't wear makeup. You're not a model, yaar. Salwar kameez mat pehno, you look like a bhenji. Bhai, phir pehno kya? Aap hi bata do. And that's what happened. I was told that pants and a short kurti are the best fit for you. They hide your fat. That's fine. Wear that. And for the next many years, that's what I wore. I was so scared of conflict and so didn't want it that I allowed somebody else to define what I should wear. The fourth weight that we carry is like an outcome of the other three, which is the loss of confidence. When the world keeps chipping away at our essence, we forget who we are. Years of comparison. Remember I told you about Sharma ji ka beta and Gupta ji ki ladki. There is also Bade Bhaiya, Choti Behna, all of that, Chacha ji ka beta. So many comparisons. And that directly impacts how inadequate we feel in ourselves. The funny thing about confidence is that it is a muscle that needs to be exercised. If you keep waiting for confidence to come, it disappears. Confidence does not come after action. Confidence comes because of action. So, now I've told you all about the weight and the weight of the world that I was carrying. But you remember the twirling girl with the red lehenga, so happy with herself. Let me tell you the remainder of her story. जैसे शाहरुख खान ने कहा था, picture अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. So now, what happened to her? Constant criticism, constant belittling made her to start focus on two things. One, to bring up her son in a manner that he never treats a woman the way I was treated or she was treated. And two, to make sure that she made an identity in the corporate world at the workplace. Now, the workplace is where she found her identity, she found her validation. She was a very high performer, much appreciated and sought after. So, at home, she found peace with her son. Now, a son who loved her immensely for who she was. And he saw her suffer. But you know what? A tight hug, a giggly evening with junk food, their favorite television show, both of them snuggled under a quilt, that was all it took to soothe them. But as the child grew, he faced the same not enough narrative from the family. And that is when she snapped. Nobody was going to tell her son that he was not enough. That for her was the proverbial last straw. She was friends with this adorable couple. Well, there are couple goals. Those two were like that. Total couple goals, made for each other type, proper this thing. Now, all of a sudden, they announced their separation. And she was like, "Hey ji, what happened here?" And she talked to her friend. She said, "Arey, but you to were our, ideal couple, made for each other, couple goals. What happened?" She said, "Well, it was okay. The marriage was fine. We're going to be forever friends. But we are happier apart." Happier. Happier? Here are two people who are good with each other, but they are separating because they want to be happier. Yeah, happy ka pata nahi, ye happier. And that's when it struck her. What the heck was she doing in this toxic relationship, which gave her nothing but psychological, emotional, and financial abuse? So, she left the marriage, right? And left the belief that she was inadequate. She concentrated on scaling heights in her career, sent her son abroad solely on her own, found her own voice, rediscovered her friends, wore clothes that she liked, and started befriending happiness again. This little girl is an HR leader, a coach to leaders themselves, a mentor to young minds like all of you. She also runs a social community for menopausal women called Bloom, Demystifying Menopause. She likes to paint now. She dabbles with new art forms called Zentangle. This is not to exhibit or sell, but this is to adorn the walls of her friends' houses. With such art form, she becomes a part of their lives. She also plays the piano very badly. She doesn't want to go to Royal Albert Hall. Just her dining hall is fine. There's music, and that's what matters. Today, she has movement. She has color. She has music in her life. She can hear her own voice all over again. Her dreams are twirling, just like that little girl was twirling. They finally shed the weight of the unkind world. Now, during a beach holiday with her love, a tiny voice in her said, "I want to wear a bikini." And then there was a whisper that came out. You know what it said? "Ha! Fat chance." But there was another, stronger, louder voice that said, "Do it! It's your choice." That's when the whole idea of body positivity she set on the journey of body positivity. That was the start. And she went on to win the Miss India plus size title at an international platform in Dubai. This is when she found her voice again. She decided that she is no longer going to carry the weight of the world with her, even if she carries a few extra kilos on her. Few, many, I don't know. But yeah, extra kilos. Now when she looks into the mirror, she sees that little girl peep right back at her. Yes, she has more wrinkles, she has grey hair, but that little girl is happy. I am happy. Now, before I wrap up, let's summarize what helped me shed the weight of the world. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I'm just here to tell you what worked for me. So if some of these points work for you, please take them back with you. So the first one was no more people pleasing. Okay, no more saying yes to everything, seeking acceptance. People pleasing is never about the person in front of you. It's all about you. You want to be accepted. So, no more people pleasing. The second, I got to know myself. Somewhere I told you we got lost. But how do I live up to my full potential if I don't know who I am? How do I get there? Silent conversations with my inner self, experimentation, meditation helps, and self-reflection. All these are a must. The third one is to be authentic. Now, when you've identified yourself, what's the point of identifying yourself if you can't live it? Sure, there will always be some people who will be pissed off when you go and set boundaries, when you say no. Let them. It's okay. Right? It's you that matters. I'd be lying if I say that I went through this entire journey solely on my own. So the fourth point is choosing the right inner circle. I had very strong support from my family, my friends, who had lost somewhere in between because I isolated myself, but I found them again. Even if it is for a little listening ear, for someone to wipe your tears, for someone to just give you a hug when you need it the most. Surround yourself with that tribe. Choose your tribe. We all have a tribe. Unless you're a sociopath, that's a different thing. But we all have that set of friends who are always with us. Find them and cherish them. I've come here as a champion of life positivity. Not that positivity that just closes its eyes to reality and says everything is rosy. You know those rose-tinted glasses that we wear? Not that kind of toxic positivity. But the one that recognizes reality, deals with it, and overcomes it. So, I'm here to talk today about chances. The chances that we take, the chances that we let go, second chances, third chances, sometimes half a chance, and sometimes fat chance. Yeah? So the delightful Lucille Ball, I know it's from years ago, even before my time, she was a comedian. Lucille Ball had said, I'd rather regret the things I've done than regret the things I haven't done. It seems like a very easy, very simple thing to say, but it's deeper than that. So, because I was constantly told how fat I am, I went on this crazy exercise weight loss schedule. I lost 22 kgs in 9 weeks. That's about 2.5 kgs per week. Okay? 4 hours exercise, which is morning, evening, 2 hours, 2 hours. Starvation diet of around 350 calories. Oh, I look beautiful. As per people. I got a lot of compliments, a lot of appreciation. But I didn't feel beautiful. I was constantly fatigued, constantly irritable. Due to that starvation diet, I gave myself a migraine condition for lifetime. I endangered my health. And as soon as I didn't feel the motivation to not be called fat, I put on all the weight back again and more. Right? Because the motivation there was external. But today, I exercise. I had a severe problem in my knees, but today I'm wearing heels. So there. I exercise because I want to be healthy. I eat right because it's good for me. I want my energy. I started my life at the age of 42. I have a long way to go. So I need to be healthy. And that's my motivation. Today, I take up space. Physically, emotionally, psychically. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to walk on the ramp with a tight-fitting gown that shows off my curves. The stage didn't break. What did break was stereotypes. Today, if anyone asks me to shrink away, you know what I'm going to say to them? Fat chance! Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's my story.